Good evening, messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
Early in the morning, I live in New York. We got to get our cars inspected every year, right? So I go to get my vehicle inspected. I go to the dealer. They say, yeah, we're going to be about an hour. I said, all right. So it was a nice day out. I took a walk. I walked into a park. I sat down on a bench, right? So take out my phone, got the earbuds in. I'm looking for the brothers. I'm looking for some boxing talk. And two brothers walk into the park. Now the park is like empty. Park is empty, right? Benches everywhere. I'm sitting on the bench. These two young brothers sit like literally a bench over from me. And I'm like, that's a lot of park. Why they sitting there? So it's two brothers, and one of them was like telling a story. You know how as black people do. We get very animated when we telling a story when we're passionate about something. Y'all seen me do it a million times. So I'm like being nosy, like, is he all right? So when it gets like that, y'all know the move. You take one bud out so you can hear. So here's my right hand. Dude says, yeah, that mother effing Fred, he, every time black people trying to do something, it's niggas like that are making us go 8 steps backwards. And I swear to God, I'll put one in his chest. I put one in his forehead now. I know like 3 people named Fred, and I really ain't paid no mind. I'm like, all right, somebody pissed him off. Here's my right hand. He said that mother effing 9 wives, and I'm like, so I said, wait a minute. Now, let me tell you how vain I am. I said, this ain't real life. Fred is in California. I'm here in New York. All right. Let me tell y'all how vain I am. I'm like, they ain't really talking about Fred. These are trolls I got blocked on my channel, and they recognize me, and they want to chin check me to see what I do. Now, it was decision-making time. Do I just say, all right, let me just get out of here before this turns somewhere else? Or do I sit here to see where this goes? Because what I was waiting for was for them to go from Fred to another channel, and then it turned into a LDBC thing, and then I'm like, okay, they want my attention, they're gonna get it. It was 2 of them, 1 of me. Read between the lines, family. 2 of them, 1 of me. They were outnumbered. Read between the lines, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. So I put my earbuds away, I put my phone in my pocket, and I just leaned back, and I just go like that, and I'm looking at them. You got my attention now. For about almost 10 minutes, he's going on about the documentary. So now I'm like, okay. And I noticed the brother that was going off had a kufi on. So he's Muslim. So he's going on and on and on. And I'm like, that documentary really got him pissed off. So then the brother with the dreads, like, he's looking at me and noticing I'm paying attention. So then the brother with the kufi looks at me and says, yeah, he said, yo, what's up? You all right? I said, you all right? And he was like, yeah. I said, brother, I gotta ask you, what's all this about you want to shoot somebody? No, I said, what's all this about you want to shoot Fred over a documentary? He says to me, you know Fred? I said, Fred Hawthorne, after he done said his full name like 3 or 4 times. He said, you know Fred Hawthorne? I said, yeah, he's a close friend of mine. And there was an uncomfortable, like, 8-second pause. He said, you know him? I said, yes, I know him. Yes. He brought it down a notch. Yeah, well, brother, you need to understand, I don't know if you understand, we righteous over here. And da 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 da. And I said, bro, listen, now this was a young kid. If he was 30, that's giving him the most. I had to, sometimes you can be mad and go home and curse and say the most off the wall stuff in the privacy of your own home. But when you're out in the street doing that, there's always someone watching. Now, this situation could have went left had I been somewhere else mentally. Listen, family, you got to do more listening than you do talking sometimes. So once I recognized what it was, now I'm talking to him, OG to up and comer. And I said, brother, listen, the world's small. I'm not lying to you. I know the man. All right. I don't know why you're so pissed off, but how you combat that is not by saying you're going to put a bullet in someone's forehead with that shit on your head, the kufi. There's nothing in the Quran that justifies anything you were saying. It's just as irrelevant as those people that like to hijack planes and ram them into buildings and use the Quran to justify that behavior. It's just as sick. It's just as sick. Name one Klansman that's Muslim. They're all Christians. They're all gun-toting Christians. To have us hanging from a tree, they will use a Bible scripture and say that this is what the God said. This is what the Lord told us to do. We're justified by it. That's why when slaves, we weren't allowed to learn how to read and write. They gave us Bibles. Okay? Just a little gem for y'all. So I have to let the brother know. I don't know who's mentoring you, but if that documentary got you that fired up, here's how you fight it. Find holes in the information and contradict it on social media, since y'all like being on social media so much. But tell me, you're going to put a bullet in somebody over that? That's a sad state of affairs, brother. Shorty with the dreads was like, yo, that's true. That's true. That's true. So it was just like an amazing, like ridiculous, eye-opening situation. Family, we got to be careful out here. All right. Shit is real out here. And it was just, I think that kid was more bark than bite, but still, that's not something you want to play with. And I just found that very strange. And I called Fred immediately after that. I called Reggie Owens. I called Fred. I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. This shit is crazy. So, I mean, look, support it if you want. If you don't want to support it, fine. That's fine. But I just thought this was an interesting story to share because it was just, it was very weird yesterday. It was very eerie and weird. And what are the odds that I go to that park? I'm never in that park. And out of all of those benches, those cats sat right next to me. I believe in the universe. I shared something with them, and hopefully they walked away from that and saying what I said. That really could have went left. That really could have went left. Now, what if I was on some different type of time and something would have happened to them? They'd have ran back to whatever mosque and said, oh, yo, Fred got OGs in the street, man. He got shooters in the street. And then it'd have been something else. Sometimes I got to stop myself and say, yo, you know what? I'm an adult. I don't got to entertain every goddamn thing. Sometimes I relapse right back into 1993. And I got to stop that. You know what I'm saying? And I said, wow. So hopefully those young men walked away from that situation and said, you know what? I got to check what I speak. I got to check how I talk. I got to check my energy. I don't have to entertain everything. You ain't got to like a documentary. If it's false, fight it with your own information. Get a panel of people that say they were there and contradict it. But what you don't do is say you're going to shoot somebody for putting out some information. That makes zero sense. That makes zero sense. What you're doing is proving them right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just want to share that, Fred, man, because that was just like awkward.
Yeah. I mean, it just speaks to the relevance and the importance of the project that I did. You know, like that's been their response. I'm talking about, speaking of the Nation of Islam, that's been their response historically. You know, if they deem you to be a threat and come in with truth, they want to try and get rid of you and then wash their hands and say, "Oh, we didn't do it. We come in peace." But they only speak of coming in peace when they talking to those other people. But when it speaks of black people, they always want to choose violence, you know. And from Malcolm X, by no means am I calling him, but I'm talking about just the popular cases that we know of. Khalid Muhammad, he was shot in Riverside. Obviously, Malcolm X was murdered. You know what I mean? And all the stories in between. It just speaks volumes on how they solve problems, and that's just what they are. You know, they're a gang at the end of the day, because if they were anything but, they would resolve issues by opening up the Quran. You understand what I'm saying? And I stand on that. You know, you know, it is what it is, man. And Nine Wives will keep on going down the road. You know what I mean? You know, it is what it is, man. Like I told you, I anticipated the pushback, you know, and I'm well prepared for it, you know. And I'll just let that fall where it may be. You know what I mean? It's, you know what I mean, it just is what it is, man, you know. And I wish him well, you know, because I'm going to stand on mine. You know what I mean? I'm going to stand on mine. And I didn't make this project to hide it. I made this project to prove, and I have facts, you know, that he slept with a 14, 15-year-old woman and had a baby with her. And you can't disprove it. I mean, her information is so easy to find. You know, she's a health worker. You know, she's been a nurse for years upon years upon years. So it's so easy to find health workers' information, and I did my work, and it's on them now. You know, now they got someone who actually did it from the victim's perspective, as opposed to saying you killed Malcolm. No, I didn't. I did it from the victim's perspective. You know, so. So it is what it is. I appreciate you coming on, sharing that story, man. Thank you for your courage. And but it's just important that we just tell the truth, man. We got so many people in our community who just want to take, you know, and not held accountable because they use language like he did so much for our people, and he's such a good person. And you know,
let me be absolutely clear.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation is not whether who agrees with who. Everyone's going to have mixed emotions about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about how I found it strange how this young man that claimed righteousness was. How do you claim righteousness and you're talking about shooting someone if you see him?
Right.
I use this reference all the time. It's like a non-alcoholic beer. What's the point? What's the point? It doesn't make sense. You really don't drink beer because it tastes good, to be honest with you. I never drank beer and wished it around in my mouth before I swallowed it. I downed it to try and get a buzz. Stop, man. Stop. I mean, that didn't make any sense. And what really troubled me is that, Fred, well, you knew exactly, when I told you you knew exactly where I was.
Yeah, like, well, yeah, I did.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, you really, and you was in the city like, what, 3 weeks ago?
Sean's mom lived on that street.
You see?
We used to play on that park, in that park you mentioned. Ask Sean next time you see her.
You like you dead ass could have like been there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so what is that? What does that mean? And then all we would see on the news is another black man shot another black man or another unsolved shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we are talking about, see, this is why we can't get nowhere. Come on, over a documentary? Take your licks and move forward. If you think the information is false, do your own research and put out your own information to contradict it. You ain't gotta like it. Guess what? Everyone, yo, listen, Fred, did you buy 12 Play when it came out?
Yeah, the first one, yeah.
I did. And then when I found out R. Kelly was on some stuff, I was like, well, there goes that.
Right.
There goes that. Did I ever say he couldn't sing? No. Did I ever say Canelo Alvarez couldn't fight? No. But what do we know? Canelo's a cheater. What do we know? Look, based off the evidence, R. Kelly has some problems. All right? Fellas, ladies in the chat, you got daughters? Would you leave them unattended in the house with R. Kelly?
Nope.
Can't. Would you justify him? There's nothing you can say about this. All right. Now, again, I'm not on here to argue the whether the documentary is bullshit or not. I'm not here to. I'm just talking about what I was a part of with this young fella. It wasn't the young fella with the dreads. It was the other guy with the kufi on, animated. I'm like, what is wrong with him? Small world, man. Very small world.
Yeah, that's insane. 8 billion people in the world, 20 million in your city.
In an empty ass park, and they come in there screaming about you. What are the odds? that was meant to happen. That conversation that I had with them, because it wasn't like a big old it was a very calm conversation. And when we walked out the park together.
Oh wow.
We walked out the park together, and I said, look, brothers, I know you're angry, but it ain't got to be like that. If you think it's wrong, do your own research. To me, I didn't say this to them, of course, but to me, it may be that, I don't know, you know how when you look towards something and you find comfort in it, and then you start finding out that that the comfort you found in that thing and what you thought it was is flawed. That really messes with you. What if the thing you found comfort in, what if something that your parents taught you or elder taught you, you found out that it was wrong or it was flawed? How do you handle that? How do you deprogram that?
Right.
It's hard. But my point at that, my goal at that point in that short amount of time was to de-escalate the situation and get them to think. All right. There's nothing in the Quran that says to do certain things. When you go into a supermarket, you don't buy everything. You go and get what you need, and you might get got on the way out because you start seeing a bunch of stuff you might think you need, and that happens to all of us. But you don't have to purchase everything in the supermarket. You understand? So if you get into a religion because of the religion, some people get into it because the pastor or the imam sold them a good sales pitch. You know, some people are looking for something. And that's a tough pill to swallow when you find out that the person, is it really the religion that's flawed, or is it the person that sold it to you? Differentiate the two. Learn it yourself.
Right.
If you lost faith in the person, go rub elbows with other people that could point you, that you feel maybe it would point you in the right direction, man. Free thinking, free thought. So again, I'm not here to bait the documentary. I'm talking about the mental state of that one young brother that I had that conversation with. And that was meant to happen. That was the universe working.
Right.
Hopefully I was able to get into his brain to get him to think, okay, this is my religion. I love my religion, but I can disregard or not pay attention to certain behavior that pray to the same God. You get what I'm saying? And I know it's touchy, man. I know it's touchy. So, you know, It's strange, man. It's just strange. It's strange.
Yeah, but thank you for sharing. Hopefully it inspires people to go another direction as it pertains to that, you know, and it is what it is, man. Just tell the truth, man. Stand on morals, man. It's crazy that you can have a conversation about morals about another subject, but when it lands home, it's like, oh no, it can't be. Oh no, it's not real. We can talk about pedophilia with R. Kelly, but we can't talk about pedophilia. Let's say Elijah Muhammad, brother polite. Oh no, why are you trying to tear a brother down? What's work? I mean, like a crime is a crime. You know, like for me, as it pertains to just boxing, I used to be pro Al Heyman, pro PBC, and then when I look back at it and I said, hold up, I was wrong. Al Heyman and Bob Arum are the Republicans and the Democrats to me. And at the end of the day, I stand on that. You know, like how, like for example, if this hadn't happened to Bob Arum, people would have never opened up their eyes, Drew. Like a black man was robbed on a black man's platform. You know what people say? Oh no, Al Heyman had nothing to do with it. Oh, he had nothing. That's how it works. They put people in place so it benefits still. But if it hadn't, if this hadn't happened to Bob Arum, you know, people be arguing with me the whole night. Oh, you just hate. No, I'm gonna give Bob Arum the same treatment I'm giving Al. And when Bob Arum come in here, I'm gonna give him the same treatment. It's wrong. You're robbing the fans. You're short arming us. This is disrespectful. This is wrong. All you care about is money at the end of the day. And Bob knows when I call Bob, you know what Bob's gonna say? You about to get me, huh? That's what Bob gonna say when I call him. Guaranteed. That's a relationship we have. And that's the guy down the street. So that's why I'll let you go. That's why I'm happy. Not happy that this happened. I'm happy that it happened on the other side of the fence. So people can, so now we got to check morality now. Are you for boxing? Or are you for PBC? Are you for Top Rank? Are you for Canelo? Are you for Caleb Plant? Are you for no? Where do you stand?
Why is it so hard for the brother Deontay Wilder to get some kind of justice? Look at what we're going through. And I mean, look, you know, look, man. One thing I say about Al Heyman is he's been consistent as far as being quiet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, did we not at some point say, yo, where's Al Heyman in this? We see what happened. Why are we the only ones talking about it? Where is he in this? But remember, guys, and I'll say this, and you know, we always talk about staying on code and everything else, but I gotta ask y'all, after the fight, when I got home and turned on my TV, was I the only person saying, what the fuck is Larry Merchant sitting there for?
That shit, the last great American. When he said that, and I was waiting on Sean Porter. I'm sorry, I jumped in front. I was looking at, by the way, I'm gonna give you our time back. We'll go another hour for the show. But the point I'm saying is, I was waiting for Sean to say something. Like, you ain't got, like, I'm not a rah-rah guy with my guests. Only Wesley Muhammad, because the man been lying for a decade. But outside of him, I've held my composure, right? Even when, what's that guy out of Dallas? He said, fuck Malcolm X. I just sat here and laughed. I think he's funny. But the point I'm making is Sean should have stood his ground. You understand? In that moment, Sean should have stood his ground and said, hold up, this is different. He could have said simply, I 100% disagree with you.
I don't even know if Sean was paying attention. He was just sitting there smiling. Like,
yeah, I didn't grasp that at all.
I think it went over his head. I really do. I really think that shit went over his head, because as soon as Larry Merchant's face pops up, I'm already somewhere else with it. I'm already focusing, like he's gonna say something crazy, and he didn't disappoint. Bye, Miss American Pie. Is this the last, excuse my expression, of the great Black Hope? I almost threw my Timberland at the screen. I'm like, yo, that didn't take long. But what I said was, who's asleep at the wheel at the PBC? HBO was gone because of him. He had a large portion to play in that. And he's sitting on the couch. Why the hell is he sitting on the couch? We got to think, why is he sitting on the couch? Who authorized that? Who authorized that? That's I'm asking. Why is Deontay really going through this? Okay, if there was a time for Al Heyman to say something or someone speak on his behalf, because I'm gonna tell you something, Mauricio Sulaiman let you know how he's coming. Val Peds is getting the fight. He failed both B sent. Why do we have rules?
Mayo and Val Peds, you all won tonight, Drew. I'm gonna use those, man, in my title.
Why do we have rules?
So
why do we have rules? Just stop using USADA, stop using VADA, free Big Baby Miller. Let Canelo go ahead and do it. Next time we see Andy Ruiz, he's gonna look like Ronnie Coleman. You know what I'm saying? No one's gonna say anything. Let everyone just do what they want to do. Because Arrow was absolutely right. He said, what if that was me who failed both A and B samples? There'd be channels on live right now cursing black people's name and saying, I knew it. Look at his nipples. And he take his job, take his money. He should be in jail. They need to reinvestigate all of his wins. I knew a guy that size couldn't hit that hard. Go investigate the Charlos, although they're like 3 different people. You understand what I'm saying? But we point out obvious corruption. Fred, when Labarbi fought Togo and those gloves were tampered with, where were those gloves after? Were they not on Suleiman's desk? But we said, yo, there's corruption, Mauricio. Y'all remember when I asked him where the gloves? He said, I don't know. I said, they're in Sugar Hill's house. Why were they not on your desk? Just entertain us, because we're the ones that fund you. It's us. We fund you. What is going on with you? We're the consumer. You need to show some fucking respect. We said Alejandra Jimenez looked like Jaime Munguia. You're bullying her because she's gay. No. She got bass in her voice. She sounded like the bass singer from Boyz II Men. Facts. To the end of the road. Yeah. Okay, Freyshawn Cruz was in there fighting a dude. A dude. You told her shut up. He disrespected the audience. Surprise, surprise. She was going through the change. He never apologized and took his time giving back Freyshawn Cruz her belt. So we got Labarbi. She got justice. She at least got an investigation. You got what is this? Freyshawn Cruz situation, and you got the Wilder situation. And he's dragging his feet and not doing anything, but Teofimo Lopez, according to his rules that he creates on the fly, right? He's undisputed according to those rules, right? Right. Remember, the franchise status was not transferable. It's just a status. You could win and lose, but you could never get it. But now Teofimo said, "Let me get that." He said, "Fine." Loma loses it. What happened to Devin? Huh? We're living in a world where Devin Haney can't get a fight, and he's getting frowned upon. Where are we at in this sport? Where are we at? I mean, really understand what's going on here. Okay, and I'm going to talk about this in the morning. Everyone's talking about us, and we all kinds of mayates. Josh Taylor was very animated on his tweet. Any smoke for him? Anybody? Anybody say anything about Josh Taylor? Anybody had anything to say? He said the exact thing that everyone else is saying, called them cheaters and everything else. Did y'all ignore that? Don't worry, I screenshot the tweet. I'll be talking about it for at least an hour tomorrow morning.
6:30.
Okay, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. The rift that exists in boxing, they created, but we get frowned upon when we point it out. Boxing's messed up. It is messed up. Don't shoot the messenger. We're pointing it out. So come on, y'all. We're the consumer. I'm telling you, after a certain, there's a few fighters I'm left watching, and when they call it quits, I ain't gonna talk about this shit no more. Y'all deal with it. Y'all deal with this. Is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. Errol Spence had an eye injury. He did everything outside of showing you his blood type. He didn't have to show us his
to talk about that too.
His shit. He had to show his eye injury. He had to release doctor's notes, but y'all damn sure asked for it. And he gave it to all of y'all. Y'all still say he lying. Let me get this straight. He gets thrown from a goddamn car, knocks out all his teeth, but he's supposed to be scared of Manny Pacquiao? Y'all don't make any sense. That's why I don't respond to a lot of people here. A lot of y'all don't deserve a response. And I'm not talking about family. I'm talking about these detractors that got a chip on their shoulder. Realistically, you're insecure. All right? You're not even a supporter of the sport. You're a supporter of a fan because he's probably the same race, culture, or creed as you. I ain't got to violate you or disrespect you or call you out your name. I'll just ignore you. It's just as good. In fact, it's even better. It's even better. I'm talking about the sport. You're talking about some guy because he speaks your language and he lives on the same block as you or some nonsense, man. I ain't got time for that, man. And 10 times out of 10, I've been watching the sport longer than you could fucking walk. If you was born in 2020, don't talk to me. Really, seriously, don't talk to me. You don't know what I know. So there's a lot going on in the world, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Thank you, Drew. I appreciate it. Congratulations on getting Roy. That's a big deal.
No doubt, fam.
Pretty
no doubt, fam. Much love, bro.
All the time. Thank you. Love you, man. Appreciate you.
Love you too, bro. Later.
Right, peace, King. Terrence Bailey. H. Furrow, wait your turn, man. Wait your turn, man.